All right. I just want to give a small introduction about myself. My name is Ram Boyapati. I have nearly 13 plus years of IT experience. In these 13 years of experience, I've been working for several technologies related to completely database side and data engineering side, and I work for the data analysis side. So mostly my focus was completely worked on the data analytics part and data engineering part. So as I mentioned, data engineering and data analysis. So there are like a lot of tools available in the market, but I was working completely for SQL Server and MSBI technologies and Power BI technologies, and also I work for the Azure data engineering, okay, and Microsoft Fabric and Snowflake. These are all the core technologies where we were using when we were developing the projects. And nearly I have 8 years of IT trainings and placement experience. So I have started my e-classes training institution in 2016. So this is my website where you can identify our e-classes. Successfully we are running from last 8 years. So you can visit our office as well. So we are located in Hyderabad. So you can look on my office location and the infrastructure where the students are coming and sitting over there, and they're able to practicing the things as well. Okay, so this is our office infrastructure. You can visit our office as well. So e-classes is offering for the students an LMS platform, so a learning management system as well. So we want to focus fully on the student flexibility to learn the courses. We created LMS portal along with the mobile app. So what are all the things you will get with this LMS portal? Daily, you can join the live classes directly in our LMS portal. The recording video access we are providing through our LMS portal, and also daily class notes, and we are going to conduct some weekly tests, and also we are going to provide some sample resumes you can able to find out, and certification guidance also we are providing. And the main advantage with our mobile app or LMS portal is you can with our trainer interact with our trainer through the chart individually. So in other institutions, you may not connecting with the trainer once the class is completed, but we are always making for doubts clarification whenever you are practicing with this trainer. And also we are going to create a group chat as well. Okay, so I'm requesting all of you, please try to enroll free of cost our mobile app and our LMS portal. To log into this LMS portal, simply goes to our website eclasses.com. There you can see LMS login. Okay, so when you're trying to log in the LMS, it will ask about organization code, and simply you can enter the organization code as a SUFKN. Okay, I shared that link. Please open this eclasses.com, click on this LMS login, and enter the organization code as a SUFKN, and then give your mobile number. If you are from India, then give the mobile number for registration. If you are from out of India, out of India, then you can able to give the email address over here. Email address over here. Okay. So this is all about like our institution, what we are offering for the students, training as well as complete placement assistance we are going to provide it over here. Okay, so now coming to this technology, what exactly we are going to discuss today? Snowflake. So we are going to discussing about this Snowflake tool. So, what exactly is Snowflake and how it is going to be used? What is a Snowflake? Where Snowflake is useful, and what are the key benefits of the Snowflake, and what are the competitors for Snowflake, and what are the job opportunities for Snowflake. Okay, what is the course content for Snowflake, what are all the things, and what are the prerequisites for Snowflake. Okay, so these are all the things we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay, so Snowflake is basically a cloud based data warehousing. So, first, let's understand what is data warehousing and what is OLTP, what is OLAP. If you are understanding these things, then you can easily understand where exactly this Snowflake is going to be used. So, you need to understand what is OLTP, what is OLAP, what is data warehousing. Okay, so these terminologies you need to understand first. Okay, to understand these concepts, first we have to take one use case scenario. Let's take it for example. I'm going to have two supermarkets. I'm running one supermarket in India, another supermarket in USA. Okay, these are the two supermarkets we are running. Supermarket 1, this is located in India, and another supermarket 2, it is in USA. Okay, two supermarkets we have. So in every supermarket you can see there are some billing counters over here. This is one billing counter, this is another billing counter. As a customer, you are going to the supermarket and you are trying to buy the product over here. The moment when you are trying to buy the product, so the point of sales, there is a billing counters. When you are doing the transaction, immediately the transactions data will come and store in the backend database servers. Am I right? If you see any business, if you see any business, everywhere this kind of setup is there. From your billing counter, whenever you are doing the transaction, immediately the transactions data will come and store in the backend database servers, data storages. This is another data storage server. Okay, I hope it's clear for everyone. So this kind of system, whenever you are going to start any kind of business, 100 percentage this kind of structure you need to implement. This is called OLTP. What do you mean by OLTP? OLTP stands for online transactional processing system. OLTP stands for online transactional processing system. Okay, so it is nothing but capturing the day to day live transactions data into a database. Just try to understand what exactly it is happening over here. Whenever a customer is coming to your supermarket, immediately when there is a transactions are happening, that live transaction data we are going to capture and store into a data storage in the backend. This is called OLTP. OLTP stands for online. OLTP stands for online transactional processing system. Online transactional processing system. Okay. So as a business owner, what I am trying to do, whatever the business was happening, I want to perform some data analysis on that, because I want to understand about my business performance, correct? So I want to design some kind of reports and dashboards on my business data to understand the deep analysis on my data. Let's, for example, I want to understand top 10 products with highest sales. Okay, with highest sales. Bottom 10 products with lowest sales, and current year versus previous year sales. I just want to understand these kind of key concepts over here. Ideally, to perform this kind of data analysis, data presentation, we are going to use some reporting tools like Power BI or Tableau or ClickView. ClickView. Okay, but to do this data analysis, your business data should be in one centralized location. Your business data, whichever you are capturing and storing in a data storage servers, this data you need to keep into one particular place. Okay, so that is called data warehousing. That is called a data warehousing. So your entire data from this it has to be loaded into one centralized location. So you need to extract the business data from this server, from server, and from this server, and you need to transform. What do you mean by transform? Transform means the data might be in a different formats. Okay, you have to do what is ETL. ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading of the data. So extraction means my business data is located in a different locations, different servers. So the business data located in different locations and servers, different locations and servers, we want to extract. We want to extract, and we are going to applying some transformations. Transformations means like a, for example, some data we are getting from US. What is the currency of the US? Dollars. What is the currency of India? Rupees. So when you are going to keep your entire data in one centralized location, that is nothing but a data warehouse. Data warehouse, you need to convert your data either into USD or into a INR. So that is called transformation. So the example is converting converting the INR into USD, or USD into INR. This is called one kind of transformation. So these kind of business logics you need to implement, and finally loading of the transformed and cleaned data into one centralized location. One centralized location, that is called data warehouse. So what is this centralized location we are using, and what is the software we are going to use to store your data finally after you are performing the data analysis, data transformations? That is called data warehousing. So data warehousing is a centralized repository to store your cleaned, transformed business data. Okay, so by using that data, your Power BI tool or Tableau tool or ClickView tool is going to designing of the reports and dashboards. Okay, So this is called OLAP system. Whatever the data you are going to storing after cleaning and transforming, and finally that data where you are going to visualizing and presenting to the customer, this system we are calling it as a OLAP. OLAP stands for online analytical processing system. OLAP stands for online analytical processing system. Okay, online analytical processing system. So OLTP system is capturing the directly your business data. OLAP system is going to be doing some data analysis, making the data to be ready for the data analysis and presenting the data like a visualizations over here. Got it? So this is what like a complete business intelligence solution we are going to provide to the customer. Okay. In this entire flow, where exactly a snowflake is going to be fit here? So the snowflake is going to be fitting over here. Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehousing. Snowflake is a cloud-based Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehousing. That means instead of saving your data in a local servers, earlier days what we are doing, we are saving off our entire data by installing the servers in local computers and then we are going to using that data. But now everything we are going to move into the cloud only. What do you mean by cloud? Cloud means whatever the softwares, hardwares, whatever the softwares, hardwares, everything already installed by some company, and you are just using those softwares, hardwares by paying the amount. So similarly here also, whatever the data you are going to store, that data we are going to store in a cloud environment only. So Snowflake is a cloud based data warehousing. We are going to saving of our entire processed and cleaned data in a cloud data warehousing, that is called Snowflake. Snowflake is going to be saving of your business data by extracting. So you can able to extract this data, you can perform the ETL, extract, transform, and load the data from the data storage. And here also you can able to do the ETL. So I'm going to getting this data from this server and this server, and then finally we are going to saving of our data in data warehousing. So what is the data warehousing? Data warehousing is a Snowflake. Snowflake is providing cloud-based data warehousing capabilities. Okay, let's try to understand about this Snowflake architecture. Why we need to use only Snowflake? Because in the market there are so many other tools are there. Earlier days we were using native SQL server to store our data, right? We are using Oracle database, SQL server, and we can able to use Oracle, MySQL, DB2, Teradata. Apart from this, why Snowflake is very famous nowadays? What are the key differences why we are going to move from this traditional data warehousing systems into cloud based data warehousing systems? So we can call these are traditional data warehousing systems, but we are not going to use these things. We want you to go with a cloud based data warehouse, cloud based data warehousing systems. What are this cloud-based data warehousing system? What are the key highlights and features? Why this Snowflake is getting this much market? The reason because if you observe this Snowflake having a multi-clustered architecture. Okay, multi-clustered architecture. That means you no need to. The very first thing is no need to install any softwares because everything is in a cloud only. Everything is in a cloud only, so no need of any infrastructure maintenance, because if you are storing of your data in your local on premises servers, you have to taken care of that infrastructure, and you have to do the installation upgradation, everything you need to taken care over here, correct? But here you no need to do any kind of zero maintenance over here. Okay, if you see the architecture of this snowflake, primarily we can divide into two parts. The snowflake can be divided into two layers over here. So this is having two layers. We can divide one layer for the storage, another layer for the compute over here. Let's take it, this is my storage. Storage means whatever the data you are going to store inside in terms of a tables or views, whatever. Okay, so this data is stored in the snowflake internal storage system, and another part is about the compute. What do you mean by compute and what do you mean by storage? Storage is a memory to store your data. Compute is going to be a processing of your data. Obviously whatever the data you are going to store, you are trying to query the data, right, to design some reports and dashboards, whatever it is. See here, this is my snowflake. Inside this snowflake, let's take it, you are storing your data here. After you are doing the ETL process, you are storing of your data, right? So ideally data will be stored in terms of a tables and views. So whatever the data you have stored, obviously your power bi is going to be connecting and trying to querying the data, right? Whatever the data you have stored over here, your power bi reporting tool or a tableau tool or click view tool or a excel or whatever it is trying to extract the data and designing of some visualizations. So how you are going to providing the compute, because whenever you are trying to query the data, how the performance is going to be provided to execute your query more faster over here, the query execution. So that compute we are going to provide over here. So compute is something a different layer is offering inside the Snowflake. Okay, so this is the first data warehousing system inside the cloud environment, separately maintaining the storage and separately maintaining of the compute over here. So for this compute purpose, in the backend, it is going to create a virtual warehouses. What do you mean by virtual warehouses? A virtual warehouses are nothing but a clusters or a computers in the backend can be created to execute your queries. Okay, virtual warehouses are the, so we can divide Snowflake into two layers. The one layer is about storage layer, and the second layer is about the compute layer. So the storage layer is going to completely saving of the data. Storage layer is all about completely storing of the processed data, and compute layer is providing a energy to execute the queries. What kind of energy? In terms of the virtual data warehouses. What do you mean by virtual data warehouse? Virtual data warehouses are the clusters, are the virtual computers in the backend. In the backend will execute your queries on top of the storage. Correct? So you are storing of your data in a storage layer in terms of a process data in terms of tables and views. So you need to query the data what you have stored inside the tables and views. To query the data to execute, we are going to create a virtual data warehousings. What do you mean by virtual data warehousing? Those are nothing but a clusters or a computers, virtual computers in the backend will execute your queries on top of the storage what you created. The main advantage of this compute layer is it is auto scale up and down based on the workload. That means, let's for example, I'm going to execute a query. It is simply getting just 100 rows. The query what I'm going to executing, it is simply querying just 100 rows only. Just 100 rows only. If another query when you are executing, it is going to be bring 10 billion records. Obviously, whenever it is going to obviously whenever it is going to obviously what will happen, 100 rows when you are going to query, it will just need less compute. Correct? So how many warehouses required? Let's I need only one virtual warehouse. One virtual warehouse means just like a one computer is enough. But when you are coming to the 10 billion rows, 10 billion rows, if you are trying to query, obviously this query to execute more faster, you need high compute. High compute means you need more than one virtual warehouse, more than one virtual warehouses, and each warehouse needed more CPU, RAM, and memory to execute your queries more faster. So based on the query workload and the data volume, automatically the warehouses are going to be scale up, means increasing the capacity and compute over here. That is the main advantage of this one. Okay, so is this Snowflake is going to be executing of your queries parallelly? Yes. The main another advantage of the Snowflake warehouses is, for example, let's take it in general. When there is some work, let's for example I have a room 1. Inside the room 1 I have 100 chairs. So these all chairs has to move into move into room 2. Correct? So how many people, for example only one person is there. If one person doing this work, how much time it will take? It will take 1 hour to move. If the same work 10 persons are doing, how much time it will take? 10 minutes only. The same concept here. When a Power BI is requesting to query the data from the storage, instead of using single warehouse, if you are creating multiple warehouses. Okay, so let's for example, this is one warehouse, this is another warehouse, this is another warehouse. When you have multiple warehouses are going to be executing of your query to get the data from this storage, the work will be completed more faster. So this is called parallel processing of your query. So your task is going to be splitted into multiple smaller tasks, and it is going to executing parallelly and giving the result as early as possible. So this is the main advantage of the Snowflake over here. Okay, it's a multi-cluster architecture. Snowflake is a multi-cluster architecture. It is divided into two parts: storage layer and compute layer. Each storage layer contains tables and views. Compute layers contains primarily your warehouses. Okay, so where the data is going to be stored, where these virtual computers are going to be created. Is this Snowflake having its own data centers? Obviously, the data what you are going to upload, it has to save somewhere, right? So is that Snowflake company maintaining the data centers to store this data? Is the Snowflake company is going to providing the virtual computers in the backend to execute your queries? No, it's not doing like that. Okay, it's going to be using other cloud vendors. What are the other cloud vendors? Currently in the market, we have three different kind of cloud vendors we have. One is about the AWS, GCP, Azure. These are the three cloud vendors we have: AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure, GCP. So Snowflake company is collaborating with these three. So based on your interest, for example, you want to use AWS storage services and AWS compute. If you are deploying your Snowflake in the AWS, it is going to be storing of your data in AWS backend memory, and it is going to using of the virtual computers creating in the AWS. Or if you are more interested on the GCP, you can able to use the GCP over here or Azure. So it's depends where exactly you are going to deploying of the services over here. Which cloud you want to use the backend. So Snowflake is a application. It does not have any kind of a own storage system, own compute system. It is just providing and collaborating with there are three cloud popular vendors, whichever you want, your wish. For example, if you want to use AWS, you can. Your Snowflake you are deploying into AWS, yes, it's going to use completely this compute and storage both in the AWS. Or if you're using Azure, your compute and storage will be using in Azure cloud. If you're using GCP, and the compute and the storage will be used in the GCP only. Okay, so this is the complete architecture. So apart from this storage and compute, there are few other services available inside this Snowflake. What are those services available? Those services like mostly focusing on the security, connectivity, managing of the warehouses. So these kind of things we are going to take in care. For example, how many warehousings you want to create, virtual warehousings, and wha- what is the capacity compute you want to provide, and how you are going to give a security authentications to the users, role based accesses, and how you are going to providing a connectivity JDBC ODBC connections from Power BI, how you are going to establish a connection to the Snowflake. These kind of things we are going to manage under these services. So primarily your Snowflake architecture contains three things: storage, okay, storage, and compute, and managing of the services related to security, connectivity, and warehouse management and everything. All right, so we are going to use some development tools to perform and developing of all these things like a Snow Pro, and we have web based application as well. Okay, so this is like a main architecture of the Snowflake. So what are the key concepts inside uh, Snowflake? Like there are three main concepts inside the Snowflake. Is one is about the time travel. Okay, so what is this time travel? And the next one is about the zero cloning. zero copy cloning, zero copy cloning. And the next one is about the live data sharing, live data sharing. These are the three features making more benefit to the customers in the Snowflake. So what exactly this time travel? Let's, for example, the time travel means users like when you want to see the historical data. Historical data means on a specific point of time how my data looks. Okay, so it is going to maintain different kind of versions. If you want to see 3 days back how your data, and for every change, if you want to roll back your data, so the historical data, if you want to get it, that is possible in the time travel option available. But that is not possible in our traditional data warehousing. And the next one is about the zero copy cloning. That means without duplicating duplicate copy of the data, we can able to provide this information to the other people as well. For example, I have one table, table 1. Okay, so a customer table. I'm going to create one more table, just copy this customer table to another table. Okay, so this is going to be customer backup table. So customer table contains 100 rows. When you are doing this customer table backup, 100 rows will be coming, correct? So it is going to be a duplicate copy, so you need to waste of the memory to store 100 rows, again 100 rows over here. But this zero copy cloning is not going to maintain this 100 rows over here. It is just pointing your customer table, the new table what you created, just pointing the old table which you have. That means it is not going to maintain again another 100 rows. Okay, for example, if I am adding 10 more rows, yes, it will just maintain this extra 10 rows in this customer backup table. And if you need the old data, it will goes to the old table and bring that data. That means now you are maintaining 100 rows plus 10 rows only in your data warehousing. So the storage will be occupied only for the newly added data only. But when you are trying to query the data, customer backup table is giving 100 plus 10 rows. That is called zero copy cloning as well. And also the third feature, live data sharing. Live data sharing means, for example, you want to give your set of table or database to other users, you want to give the access. So if you want to give access to the other users on this without making a duplication of the database, for example, there are some people, they are not a Snowflake users, they are out of your organization, but you want to give access to them as well. Okay, so Snowflake is allowing the organizations to share live real time data securely with other Snowflake users, like a external parties, without data duplication. So if you want to provide data access to external users without duplicating the data, okay, simply you can share your data, live data, by creating some snow read access accounts. So we are going to create some users with only read permission, then you can able to share this data out of your organizations as well without duplicating and maintaining over here. Okay, so these are all the majorly why the people are customers are using this Snowflake data. These are the three main benefits of this Snowflake. And apart from that, the architecture like the cloud based, no maintenance, zero maintenance, and automatically the multi cluster, it is going to increasing of the compute. And it is completely based on the cloud based. The main the reason why the customers are using Snowflake to store their data warehousing is the main one important thing is cloud. So it is completely depends on the cloud architecture only, right? It is completely maintaining of the cloud. It's nothing but a separation of the compute and storage independently. Storage layer is different, compute layer is different. The second advantage is it is a multi-cloud availability. Multi-cloud availability, that means you can deploy your solution, your Snowflake, on AWS or Azure or GCP. And the other advantage of this one is time travel and cloning. Time travel means historical data you can able to see, and also zero cloning, right? And the next one is live data sharing, and it can be handled structured and semi-structured data as well, like a JSON files, XML files. So these kind of files also going to be s- processing and storing the data. And also the other advantage is auto scaling, and your compute is going to be automatically increasing based on the workload. That is called auto scaling and down based on the workload. Okay. And the main advantage is security compliances. You can implement role based access as well. That means to a specific data only you want to give access on a specific table, you can able to use row level security as well. And the row level based, and the main thing is cost efficiency. So how the cost is going to be charged, this is going to be completely pay as you go. That means whenever you are using, then only you can able to pay for this one. Okay. So for example, if you are using more data warehousings to execute your workload, then it is going to charge more. If you are not using more data warehousing, it is going to use less. So pay per second based it is going to be performing the things over here. So mostly in this Snowflake developers, whoever is going to learn, this course duration is 30 to 35 hours. 30 to 35 hours we are going to discuss. And if you see the course content, what we are going to cover inside this Snowflake, simply we will share the course content as well for everyone. Let's go to this Snowflake. Here you can able to see this is the course content what we are going to cover. So introduction to the cloud data warehousings. The competitors for this Snowflake is in the Azure we have already Azure Synapse. In the Google we have BigQuery, and we have a Redshift in the AWS. Similar kind of products. But even though the Snowflake is more popular, and introduction pricing and the Snowflake editions and supported cloud platforms connecting to the Snowflake architecture, loading, unloading, and the key concepts like a querying hierarchical data, working with subqueries, CTE. See, the main prerequisites to learn the Snowflake is you should have some basic SQL that I'm going to teach inside this course, some basic SQL concepts as well inside the Snowflake over here. Okay, so then after semi-structured data, how to process, what is virtual warehouses, and understanding the Snowflake table structures and views, materialized views, time travels, and sharing data in Snowflake, and also security kind of things we are going to implement this one. And in this course I am going to teach you few sessions on the Power BI as well, how to connecting from Snowflake into Power BI to design the reports and dashboards. So how to design a reports and dashboards by using Power BI into this Snowflake. Okay. So what are all the things we are going to cover inside this one is some basic SQL part, complete Snowflake development and administration, and few Power BI reports. The overall course duration is 35 to 30 to 35 hours. Okay, so this is all about this demo session, what we are going to discuss on this Snowflake. Okay, for regular sessions, when we are going to start and what is the timings and everything you can able to reach out on this number 7989781302. So after completion of this course, you have to do a certification as well. So we will assist you on that certification as well, and we are going to give you some interview questions, and also we are going to provide resume preparation and one end-to-end project as well. So some people, what will happen along with this Snowflake tool, they are going to learn some ETL tools as well. Okay, so what are the ETL tools means, where exactly those will be used? If you see here, when you are going to querying the data from this data storage to Snowflake, sometimes some external data ETL tools will be used. Of course, Snowflake have a capability to the ETL the data from data storage to Snowflake, but some companies they are using some third-party ETL tools. Like what are the third-party ETL tools we have? We can able to use Informatica, SSIS, and recently more popular Data Factory and DBT tool. Okay, so these are the tools they are using. If anybody looking for the ETL tool also, so we will recommend to use Data Factory tool as well. So we are teaching this Data Factory tool as well. If you need anyone separately, if you want to learn that one, but in this course our primary focus is completely on the Snowflake development only. Okay, so now if you guys have any questions, you can raise your hand and you can able to ask the questions.